Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions. The Eagles are 3.5-point road favorites. Yes, you heard that correct. The Eagles are 3.5-point road favorites in a football game here in week 8 of the 2021 season. 48 is your total against the Lions. Brad, listen, Lions haven't won a game yet. They've been froggy though, like they've been kind of scrappy. I love what Dan Campbell did. I can't believe I'm saying I love what Dan Campbell did last week, but listen, if you're bad, why the hell not onside kick and fake punt and do all the shit you can do to try to win a game when you know you're bad? I mean, like, you're bad, you're worse than your opponent. So go out and try and win the game. The Eagles have been one of the more baffling teams for me, I think, to handicap. Maybe outside of the Chiefs, I think the Eagles are probably the team that are most difficult for me to handicap. There are things that they do well that leads you to believe that it should lead to some sort of success. Like, their pass block win rate is 8th overall in the league. Their run block win rate is 2nd overall in the league. And that translates to the 21st overall offense in the NFL, according to DVOA. So I don't know. I can't really get a grasp on all this. I want to lean towards the Lions getting more than a field goal against this Eagles team, but then I think something's grabbing a hold of me to keep me from doing it. But what do you see here, Eagles and Lions?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, they've got talent. They've got on the Eagles. They've got so much talent, right? As you said, they're winning on both lines of scrimmage, but it's like whatever they're doing with it behind it is abysmal, right? So I mean, they've been bet every week. Like, the market sees like how good they are in the trenches, right? And like, they were bet. I think they went off -1 in some places last week from +3 or +3.5. They were bet against the Cowboys. They were bet against Tampa. Like, they take money every week and they just keep putting up terrible numbers. Like, defensively, I was reading into them quite a lot, and it's the most mundane scheme that PFF tracks, is in they don't disguise what they're going to do. They line up they sit in cover 2 zone, and the safeties and linebackers are bad, and they just get shredded, right? So I do think, like, Jared Goff should be able to move the ball. Like, that's what he's been doing this year, is sort of dink and dunk. But the Eagles are bad enough that they might just allow that to happen. I would say there is a talent gap, but there's a talent gap every week with the Lions, and they keep covering spreads. So I don't know. It's a tricky one for me. I really didn't have an angle, because these two teams are both. They're both not really matching what we would expect from their talent. Like, the Lions keep covering without talent, the Eagles keep failing to cover with talent. So I don't really know.
A total sitting at 48 in this one, which a lot of people probably look at and scratch their head too, maybe, because, again, some teams that have really been underperforming in certain aspects of the game. Steven, you do have a play on this one. You seem to be against our line of thought here. You are on the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't disagree with anything you've said, though. I just think they're playing the Detroit Lions this week. I mean, this is, if we listen to the coaches in their press conference, we have a battle of the fertilizing flowers against the knocking kneecaps this week. So here we go. I think everything you said about the offense is 100% correct. And I look at Nick Sirianni and I see Ted Lasso in season 1, master motivator, speech guy who knows nothing about the game and can't scheme his team to anything and is on the path to relegation. So, sorry, spoiler alert, but you should have seen Lasso season 1 if you haven't already.
Right.
I mean, it's just, they have the pieces. They can't put the puzzle together. So, but I also think this week, the only argument in betting the Lions is narrative based, because the stats don't back it up, especially with the Lions having lost so many important pieces at this point to injury on both sides of the ball. So let's take a look at the Eagles offense over the last 3 games when it has been at its absolute worst this season. 25th in EPA, 25th in drop back EPA. So Jalen Hurts has been bad. Still 4th in rushing success rate. So the passing stats a little better when you look at them for the season overall. And they're playing a Lions defense this week that is 29th in EPA, dead last in drop back EPA, 8th in success rate against the run. So some of these numbers were when the Lions D had good players, by the way. It's worse now. Like, if you look at what their roster is now, it's actually worse than what their overall season numbers are. So, and when the Lions have the ball, it's also very bad. 28th in EPA against the 22nd ranked EPA defense, 27th in dropback EPA against the number 20 drop back EPA defense. So, perhaps there is a human element here where the Eagles are going to quit on Nick Sirianni and it's all going to fall apart at some point. There's already rumors that at some point Gardner Minshew might start playing quarterback at some point.
I was just about to bring that up. The beat writer for The Athletic, Bo Wolf, wrote a whole article over there about saying that Gardner Minshew could end up starting games sooner as opposed to later even. So,
right.
I'm sure Jalen Hurts hears that stuff and I'm sure, whatever. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily Jalen Hurts' fault, Stephen, if we're being honest with you. I mean, I just think that they have not put him in a position to succeed, right? Like he's a dual threat quarterback that they run absolutely no plays catered to a dual threat quarterback. It makes you wonder if they wouldn't have more success if Gardner Minshew was playing quarterback, because it seems like they've designed this offense more for a guy like him than a guy like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. So again, I won't eliminate in the range of outcomes that the Lions continue to play really hard and pull out all the stops and pull out a cover here, or maybe even a win. But I think that range of outcomes is small still against this Eagles team, especially with all the injuries. So just based numerically, I have to bet the Eagles at -3 this week. I'd still bet them at -3.5. And just hope this isn't the week that they completely implode. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one.
Think we're oppo on this one. Again, not in my account as we sit quite yet. Trying to dig in a little bit further into seeing if I can get any, scheme changes that maybe are coming from the Eagles, anything like that maybe would give me a reason to not want to bet the Lions. But, listen, we're looking at a quarterback here who's 29th in adjusted completion rate on the season. He's only 7.1 yards per attempt, which is down at 22nd in the league. And he's 31st under pressure. Now, he shouldn't get a ton of pressure from Detroit, but, if they're able to figure something out and get some pressure on him, he's 31st in the league whenever he's facing pressure as well. So I think there is just a lot. I think there's enough here where if I'm getting more than a field goal, does lean me towards the Lions.
I got to share one more. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. I got to share one more just unbelievably awful stat for this Eagles defense. One of their beat writers, Ruben Frank, tweeted this week that in the first 1,285 games in franchise history, they allowed 8 quarterbacks to complete 80% of their passes. In the Eagles' last 5 games, they've allowed 4 quarterbacks to complete 80% of their passes. I mean, it's bad on both sides of the ball. I'm just praying that it's the Detroit Lions this week and they're not that bad.